Gilg Jew, Gilg J as Gilg Nerach.
As showed you Claare na Gael as Baviliam Shuish Altaka. My name is Robert Cadine Carswell, Robert a Carslach.
Did the ever hear tell of old Bobby Bob?
And you're very welcome to this programme, Claare na Gael, in which you'll hear the English language as Ingenious, Nishu Clashin and Gilg, and in which too you'll hear the Manx Gaelic, Chinyanamera, the mother tongue of Ellan Vanning, the Isle of Man. As Bannacht and Jurish, in 1828, Dorothy Wordsworth, the sister of the poet William Wordsworth, visited the island. The Wordsworths had family connections with the island, including acquaintance with the family of Robert Brown, father of T. Brown. Well, we'll look at Dorothy Wordsworth's diary of this visit. To Jonathan Harker, engel de Lothrish Dunyan message Joseph Smollett, onzeep de redden maak, kred te gisteren de oer as Transylvania, ter wij Corriglorish Count Dracula via Ty Carfax egge ons Purfleet Essex, gus Boolelje ons Lunning. We begin with Irish singer Sean O'Shea with the song Dovey Ban Wujel, going into the song in English based on it, Carrickfergus. Tashu Gay Shachrish Radio Vanning, Stasiun and Ashun, Viscol Scalia Mach Vai Dulish, Ellan Vanning.
The Viban Uasal shall the William ach yin she quoth dim safarir the was na town pass na Baltimore ach dag shion me os da vainche counsel fair see and town will the venture in war hier fein nach nicht an time log scan fall leisagam is beg of winter kiaull I wish I had you in Carrickfergus is fadonach in a when sailing over the deep blue in the egg of royal sick yellow worm for the seas are deep love and I cannot swim over and neither have I the wings to fly I wish I met with a handy boatman who would ferry me over, my love and I. In Castle Comer it is reported a marble stone there as black as ink with gold and silver I'll pay for porter, but I'll sing no more till I have a drink. For I'm drunk today, and I'm seldom sober. A handsome rover from town to town, but now I am dead and my days they are over. Come Molly as Thorin
Sean O'Shea, Davy Ban Woozle and Carrickfergus. There's no recording of Sean O'Shea singing that song with the harpsichord of Sean O'Riordan and the traditional musicians of Culturey Coolan, recorded in Dublin's Gaiety Theatre, but that was a rather more orchestral setting of it there. On Thursday, June the 26th, 1828, Dorothy Wordsworth travelled from Grasmere to Whitehaven to sail to the Isle of Man, and we'll take up her diary as she goes on board. Embarked at 10. Full moon. Lighthouse. Luminous sky. Moved away and saw nothing till a distant view of Isle of Man. Hills cut off by clouds. Again sick and below till near Douglas. Beautiful approach, harbour calm, wind fallen. Henry met me at inn. Now this would have been on Friday morning the 27th of June after an overnight sailing, and Henry is Henry Hutchinson, a retired mariner who lived on the South Quay in Douglas, at that time a prestigious address. Henry Hutchinson, 1769 to 1839, was the brother of William Wordsworth's wife, Mary Hutchinson, and in 1828 Henry Hutchinson was living in retirement in Douglas with his sister Joanna, whom we'll meet shortly in this account. Henry is buried at Kirkbraden, where his epitaph is said to have been written by William Wordsworth. Fortunately, it was copied down before it was eroded away. Hie me back a smollet, as vry me jay, rau e able de inch dun rau kistje gan elia we courage lesh by Carfax. Dregere, well, governor, tas you an yinu fi vai rum, fam ye chor de lie fontera. As nium ginst you will you as the fissamer. Cheel me dunje Jane en een bloksum grey, carry de henna so weich as coin, ons ali pincher, en ach for job quech John ach eggesen as egge chumreig, ons shan tie ons perfect. Genel monne job on Jane lid shaw, as ta mi smunion fuddy de wodach Sam bloksum ginst you de nach. Vry me jay, wodde ginst thou red de redene. Dinch me day, de wodach e getting an endless, de bech e few ye fontere elia day. Ma so ren e slugge shees kujer maar na te egge as jasse soes, as e grey de rawe er chi gol de goil toyach der shirre kaartig en tre shen. Egge doris jasse is doorte, nishesh governor, gen e kielach e mish cum rail shiwan shaw. Now this is the Welsh group SIDAN and the song Dienw, and there'll be more from SIDAN later on.
Shall
Welsh vocal group SIDAN and the song The Enw, SIDAN meaning silk. And in fact, I've just come across a letter from Rhys Lloyd that he wrote in early December, but as I've only just got it, and he's a Welsh speaker who listens in to Claare and Gael from the former Shir Flint in Gogledd Cymru. I should think he's probably too young to remember SIDAN, though he'll certainly know of Carol Parry Jones, who was a member. O fyddi dy gynnym feddyn Sam dy lia, na fyddi nach gynnym, ach na iaich a liclia dy be on stead dy instw mon a nach, fer lie ta Sam tret e gol toiach der a joch, ma vis a webel de chor cwdach as clawa ger, as cor an enmus jou nim feddyn mach red ta Sam regedden as cor es a fost you nach. Ach sain du iri da dersen de moch as a vore, na fyddi na gynnu berach dan sont ta Sam soel fie woge. Gyn skansten joch yn I rasien. Slen Careilach ma saw high ferge in a page and lesh ping de channach a cwdach as dulliag de feber. As de rail ad min ergid. Tra henki Tyrish hug me men mas a cwdach as hug me clawag As trev a smollet chor gelden rish de firniach de chorse fos en enmus tre hurea, hai me an red tie. Ta sin gaert a log ag a chwdslu. Tammy ski nach as Tammy giri cadla. And Dorothy Wordsworth writes of Douglas that she's surprised with gay shops and storehouses. Comfortable breakfast with dear Joanna, who was overpowered with pleasure. Well, this now is Joanna Hutchinson, 1780 to 1843, the youngest of the Hutchinsons. Dorothy notes now that she wrote to Sarah and went to bed. Sarah is another Hutchinson, 1775 to 1835, and Sarah lived at Rydal Mount in the Lake District. After her rest, Dorothy had, she says, a pleasant walk after dinner on sands and in the gardens of the hills. Well, the Hills house stood at the junction of what is now Circular Road and Westmoreland Road in Douglas. The gardens were in the area below what is now Circular Road and were a popular place for the people of Douglas to walk. I'm afraid that I don't know exactly what and who Dorothy is writing about here when she says, decayed house, divided luxuriant flowers and shrubs, very like a French place, an Italian lady the owner. And that was The Soldier's Joy, a tune well known in Scotland, although that version was collected by Maud Carpellies across the border in Northumberland. And it was performed in a 1936 recording by the National Folk Dance Orchestra, conducted by Arnold Foster, who of course worked with Mona Douglas on Manx songs and dance music. Sioliw stasiwn yn asiwn radio fanning, y si Claare na Gael yn Claare Shaw. Mer yn pin, Robert Gytyn Carswell, Robert y Carslach.
Have you heard tell of old Bobby Bob?
De Claare na Gael rechlaas yn rysjacht yn lwgtigol sgelia maach yn Chir Shaw, gyr ysym ydi Claare yn radio fanning elia, inadeg radio fanning trwyd yn chraman agert. De Claare na Gael maast yn chiden door en de podcast en jes fys regedden nasty inadeg radio vanning, na trwyd yn reichier de podcast jou, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Audible, Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, na Alexa. And Dorothy Wordsworth's diary continues. Air very clear. So it was yesterday, though all hazy in Cumberland. Very fine walk after tea on the cliffs. Sea calm and as if enclosed by hazy dark steeps. Fishes sporting near the rocks. A few seabirds to chatter and wail, but mostly silent rocks. Two very grand masses in a little bay, a pellucid rivulet of sea-water between them. The hills mostly covered with cropped gorse, a very rich dark green. This gorse cropped in winter and bruised for cattle fodder. The moon rose large and dull, like an ill-cleaned brass plate, slowly surmounts the haze, and sends over the calm sea a faint bright pillar. In the opposite quarter, Douglas Harbour illuminated, boats in motion, dark masts and elegant ropes. Noises from the town ascend to the commanding airy steeps where we rested. On such a night as this, no sickness, no commotion in a steam vessel. The night before, just as safe, but no peace for the body, and as to the head, no head can rest on a steam vessel sofa, there's such a labour below. Ta Mina trom na cadla, as te Jean beggan ro ben. Tan a Sulianek Jean morder awi Kenya. A wach vien. Genel mi dutjeel de wel I farbach I de bij frelt Guinness, ach, shere mote. Shere de wij mollich is burrich en slid an acht na de ligger den dunnles ek wij brischt. Len gaat van a vier lie de gade weer de rawi feget chaumui jen goes aglach shaw. Zijn nou shadow de chander son orm pint en cormerlier shaw de rail tostach. Gedjidum chit a goes re creer bi bestakert. De jaru voor in be a kraaie lugolju, no de wel is jit de wij tostach mechion a goes, as genelli lord mechion een gount, na shen vis chintegge, kaart neer is dinsjen jen vriwne zijn. Een nala jarafauer vaster beg. La ljouwer dolly griesige van. Ze gid vos hoer mi me goedach as men meser les meer solach de faber chow stage. Now, I'm not quite sure if this counts as a song exactly, but YVES LEBLANC chants perhaps and plays the accordion for some Breton dancing.
Main au genou, main au côté, les bras croisés, taper des pieds, claquer des mains. Main au genou, main au côté, les bras croisés, taper des pieds, frapper des mains. Main au genou, main au côté, les bras croisés, taper des pieds, claquer des mains. Amusez-nous, jeunes fillettes, nous n'avons plus le temps de main. Main au genou, main au côté, les bras croisés, taper des pieds, claquer des mains. pieds, frapper des mains.
YVES LEBLANC, who's also a leading exponent of Breton music on the clarinet, the très jeune Gael, the cabbage stalk, and there he played the accordion and invited you to put your hands on your knees in that dance, main aux genoux. Verskriwt leis pen Lyser ons lauskriwi shint mach, Sam Bloxam, Tai Corcoran, Claare, Court Pota, Stred Bartle, Walworth, Gin Braiach son fair and edd. Hwr mi ysgriwen chawds mi va mi syljabi, as diri mi gyn dwsta Mina. Vi gyn trom sabinach ben, as ffordd vai slent vai. Rem mi reiche gyn dwsta ach de ginen tre vaiden jit rish vain ronsen no shaw, reiche son de hol back as Exeter. Liam de berg in a smaners a tai ein heen, leis na kiartig an leoil de gol simjou, shave on shaw na mastein as fegit guinness. Havak mi an fairly seward ach rishalid, as dinch mi de red va mi urchi gol, les gelden de hit back as de hinch den a fiereliach of lies weg feathenish machem. Jim an megas Walworth as hoor mi les pert de goliad Court Potter. Ren letterige manche smollet cor me a Sharon, a fair vry me son Court Pota, ons in it J. Court Potter. Joanna welcomed us with a dish of crabs, sent by her kind friend Mrs. Putnam. Stars appearing at our return, after a hearty supper of crabs, etc., retired to rest. June the 28th, Saturday, slept till 7:30, breakfast at 9. Lovely morning, walked with Henry to the nunnery. Cool groves of young trees and many fine old ones. And the present nunnery house was completed in 1830, and Dorothy Wordsworth saw the previous house, in fact not long before its demolition, although there'd been work to extend that old property not that long before. The nunnery estate had been owned by the Tubman family. The heiress Isabella married Lieutenant Colonel Alexander John Goldie, Scottish soldier, in 1804. And in 1829, Lieutenant Colonel, I think he was General by then, General Alexander John Goldie, took the name Goldie Tubman, and to keep Tubman in the family. But Dorothy got the Goldie name wrong here anyway. She, in her diary, refers to General Golding, she calls him. General Golding, she says, has built a handsome house near the site of the old nunnery, on which stands a modern house, brackets, to be pulled down. So she was seeing what looks like a modern house, but it's going to be pulled down anyway. Now, we're a bit previous with this, but the harp of Rachel Hare and the voice of Ruth KEGGIN bring us the Arrane Evi, the good night song.
Tí tregol die as gold the lie, tan stolt from greinach mi rom, te sign o dún the glishach, te tan the strena liavach. chalach, te geniac shin the chaldai, te bonus tread the gre, Eva.
Ruth KEGGIN and Rachel Hare from their album Lothan, and that was the Arrane. Well, from 1831 to 1844, General Alexander John Goldie Tubman, as he became, was Speaker of the House of Keys. Dorothy gives a brief description of the nunnery. The old convent bell, hung outside, is used as a house bell. The valley very pretty, with a mill stream, and might be beautiful if properly drained. The view of the nunnery charming from some points. Walked on to the old church, Kirkbraden. Handsome steeple. Burial ground beautifully shaded and full of tombstones. Sought poor Mary Crumps, but in vain. Now, presumably, Mary Crump was a family friend buried at Kirkbraden. However, I came across 2 records for burials in the same year, 1822. The Kirkbraden parish register records the burial of a Miss Crump on the 14th of July, 1822. So presumably that's the one. However, the St George's parish register also gives Mary Crump, daughter of Crump, solicitor at Liverpool, aged 26 years, 19th of August 1822. Well, 2 Miss Crumps here in the island dying apparently within a month of each other. Na iau looked thou feathen a court, gerau doliad feathen mach taie corcoran. Tre vraimi J and Dunya henkus a doris on fair and eth, Chre a chiaull as dorte. Hanel enna mer, hanel yid a fech and shaw. Geren mi riw clashen me chiaull egger on zulje na bloemen leien hem. Hanel mi krel de wel pech by jen lid shen bech on shaw nons bol by elje. Gauw mi maach skriwen smolletjes. Gouds rem mi leie ve jen de jinnige lessoen je letterige maach enne me goert, cor lied dou. Kirit tauos, vrij mi. Sheen fair innage, mish dreggerij. Hannig mi tjelierach der mi golde mai, va letterige maach schienach chor mi a scharen. Ren koene lie groen son durach, cor tusje an ormen veeldau. As hoer mi maach der mansje bloksem, ver chor je kujer maren en liuneg ons kadle ni roshen ons taie kokeren, ne Gael son an overegge ons popla, quegger a chlag a more shen. As for Shen, the musicians of Cornish dance group KERNEWEK, with Merv Davey playing banjo there and Jim Pengelly on accordion, I think, visited to KERNEWEK in the early days. First of all, they played one of Merv's tunes, Carol Coref, and then they played the traditional tune, Fair Lyskerys.
Station, Manx Radio.
Stasiwn yn asiwn to radio fan as yn siot as yw geisdiach rys Claare na Gael as mish Vista Chebel or Robert Cutting Carswell or Robert a Carslach.
Have I heard tell of old Bobby Bob?
Gedod y gynst daw red van bol ofri regeddyn, ach fa ai niaw vach te legge den ei sortsenjach de high store talk no van. As les weggach yn Leeds Mall Shaw, fe arm goel taiach de Golgus Poplar. Fe mun lai rosh me door mi fawd de loer jay lied de chrogel, as hoor mi Shaw on shap chaffi, bol ve cus de avri en goel generok. Ren fer jousen Shaw, corlige dau, de rauw gul trogel on Straight Cross Angel, trogel no maar tai store fuur. As no der Seo freger tachten groente jay tai store talt no, Jim en me hugget chalirach. Ren colortus rish fair giat gromach, as rish forum en eerne scroma, as na nis jougin boeach gliorish cunjach en reach, cor me lorg bloksum. Verheim corrigersen lukt dau ligge mache de beiden arltach die ik velen leg agus normen egge de bech kidem de chorfeishne geersen koos privéjach. Having walked out to Kirkbraden via the nunnery, Dorothy Wordsworth and Henry Hutchinson she writes, sat in the shade till we were quite refreshed. One monument like 3 giants' legs, and another curious old stone. Well, this will be one of the carved stone crosses now housed inside Old Kirkbraden, but once standing outside the church. Many new houses, observes Dorothy. Ugly architecture, except the nunnery, which is very handsome. Well, the nunnery would have been fresh in her mind after viewing it on the way out to Kirkbraden, but it seems odd to suddenly jump back here with her thoughts on houses, presumably in the rest of Douglas. But then she looks around Kirkbraden again and notes, tombstone or obelisk to the memory of a son of the Duke of Atholl, commander of the Manx Fencibles. Now this is the monument to Lord Henry Murray. Now, unfortunately for Celtic history as it were, the Manx Fencibles were deployed to Derry in 1798, and Lord Henry ordered the burning of Ballymoney in reprisal for the Irish uprising. And speaking of Ireland, here's some, well, Irish music as it's meant to be, eh? See what you think.
If you ever go across the sea to Ireland, then maybe at the closing of your day, you will sit and watch the moon rise over Claare and see the sun go down on Galway Bay. Just to hear again the ripple of the trout stream, the women in the meadows making hay, and to sit beside a turf fire in the cabin and watch the barefoot gossoons at their play. For the breezes blowing o'er the seas from Ireland are perfumed by the heather as they blow, and the women in the upland digging praties speak a language that the strangers do not know. For the strangers came and tried to teach us their ways. They blamed us just for being what we are, but they might as well go chasing after moonbeams or light a penny candle from a star. And if there's gonna be a life hereafter, and somehow I feel sure there's gonna be, I will ask my God to let me make my heaven in that dear land across the Irish Sea.
That was Bing Crosby singing Dr. Arthur Colohan's 1947 song Galway Bay. Now, Arthur Colohan was an Irishman, in fact, although he wrote the song when he was living in Leicester. He is buried in Ireland, though in an unmarked grave. There's some surprisingly hard-hitting words in there, though Bing Crosby changed the line about a language the English do not know to the strangers do not know, and I think he mentioned about strangers rather than English in another line in there as well. Now, fencibles were usually a sort of territorial army or home guard raised to defend the local area. But in 1798 the Manx fencibles had been sent to Ireland, led by Lord Henry Murray. He died at only 38 in 1805 and is buried in Kirkbraden, as noted by Dorothy Wordsworth in a diary of her visit in 1828. Where you may remember we also heard of Lord Henry Murray, perhaps somewhat libelously, in a book, The Itinerant, or Memoirs of an Actor by Samuel Riley. Samuel Riley, that was a nom de plume he subsequently took for the stage in place of his family name, Romney. And you may remember we looked at The Itinerant, or Memoirs of an Actor, relating to his visit to the island with his wife in the 1790s and his various difficulties, particularly with the musician and quack doctor, Dr. Jacob Hammer. But he also referred in that to Lord Henry Murray. It was all a bit of a tour de farce rather than a tour de force, and that book was published in 1808. Anyway, we're looking at Dorothy Wordsworth's diary from 20 years later. Fe na wunje achtel de loer, geder au I garw sa lortus sa nimmer gege. Tref am I chor gelden de ik son an isege, chor de ierlis, dintje dau der au de jorne jintege, eder Carfax, as tai ons Piccadilly. As der au I chor lesh vain derre hai, sjog as a tai elia, nai kistjigen moere. Kistjigen tro maaglach. Les kabel as cart an velia de nor shaw. Vry mi gi rau able de inch thou iru a tai ons Piccadilly, as de send regere. Well, governor, tammy Jerudan iru, ach rau ach doris na gev I kiel woer ben, de riddenach jane leed shen, na veller we trogget rish father. Shan tai Johnach mar weinius, na jain rau shen weg as all rish John de tai gaushin na bloemen kistjigen maag aas. Krenach renu kast na stjach ons na taien, na vad na nisjau follem, ma vad na nisjau follem. Van Shan feich ren felie me, furcht an arm sa Chan tai ons Purfleet. Now we heard Welsh group SIDAN earlier in a more upbeat song. Here they sing the lullaby Cwsg Osian.
Cwsg Osian, cwsg yn glid, yn dy hyd o gryd. Cwsg heibe o brad a llyd, cwsg hwysg dy fyd. Trab o'r gwai a thrab o'r angau maen, trab o'r cledd yn rhydd o'r wain, cwsg ymlaen, fe leddi'r dydd, dy ofnau cydd, cwsg ymlaen, cwsg ymlaen, cwsg ymlaen, cwsg osian, cwsg yn rhydd, cwsg rhag bod yn gryf, cwsg gyda freuddwyd gydd, cwsg bydd rhyw swyn y don, rhyw freuddwyd mwyn, daw rhyw ryddi tractor gwyn, cwsg yn fwyn, daw hydol ddydd, cei fyw yn rhydd, cwsg yn fwyn, cwsg yn fwyn, cwsg yn fwyn, cwsg osian, cwsg yn glid, ond y hydol gryd, cwsg heibio brad a llyd, cwsg erhwysg dy fyd.
Cwsg Osian, the lullaby Sleep Osian, sung by Welsh group SIDAN. Renne cwn o liam dy chrogl sws na kistigan as dy chors jach as y dre. Dar y jawl ach fein y wynio strasio honig mi riw, as eschen na chian wynio, leis far viel ben, as chysang yin ach usmunio na bech skedw kiautegga. Crane ach renne gŵsio grisach me. Now Douglas Market, very busy, writes Dorothy Wordsworth. Women often with round hats like the Welsh, and girls without shoes and stockings, though otherwise not ill-dressed. Panniers made of matted straw. Country people speak more Manx than English. The sound isn't coarse or harsh. As a sen nimage corcion eragila and shenry shachten. Well, in just a few minutes, Chris Pearson will be here to present 2 hours of the best chill-out music for your Sunday evening from 7 to 9. And then at 9 it'll be Sundown with Judith Leigh. We're closing with music by Scottish band Dive, giving us a musical description of Big Donald of the tillage plot, the small holding. Ach, Sianne Nish, as Masaw. Until the next time then, this is Robert Cutting Cardwell, Robert the Carslach.
Oh, Bobby Bob.
Wishing you a very good night. Eve, I'm a Crieri, was Orcher ye, as my year and shed you will you.